Hey guys, and welcome to a special edition of To Whom It May Concern. So this week, it's my husband and I's 10-year marriage anniversary. And so my husband is joining me, Jared.
Hi guys.
We asked if people would be interested in us doing a special marriage version of To Whom It May Concern. People seem to be interested. So we have a list of questions, but before we get to those, we just want to put out there the disclaimer that we are not the authority on marriage, how your marriage should go, how marriage should go in general, any of that. We are here sharing our perspective, our experience, in hopes that it can help inspire you to come up with your own. We believe marriages are unique in nature. Different things work for different people, and we just want to share what works for us, what didn't work for us, what we tried, haven't tried, and our perspectives, in hope that just like it's brought us to 10 years, hopefully it can help you keep your marriage in a healthy space as well and continue to grow.
Right. Or at least stand.
Or at least stand.
Right.
I guess there's no long-term relationship that at some point couldn't have been labeled toxic. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. We're people. People are imperfect, so our relationships and connections are going to be imperfect. And so we just want to put that disclaimer out there, though, that we're just merely sharing. We are not telling you how to run your life or your marriage.
Right.
Moving forward, I said that we have questions and kind of topics to cover. Here we go. The first one.
Do you want to lead in? Or
No, go ahead.
Me? Okay, so for me, one of the things that I'm going to teach my sons, we have 4 boys, is that you do a lot of counseling beforehand on your own, apart from your parents, just by some unbiased party, just so you can deal with a lot of trauma, deal with a lot of past hurt, and get real healing and be whole moving forward before you even get to anyone. I think one of the big issues is that we deal with a lot. We deal with a lot of brokenness in households, in society, and one of the things that I want to make sure of, at least for mine, moving forward, at some point, you're able to deal with some of the things that have hurt you. And so when anything in the future comes up, you've kind of found a way to deal with it and it not be a hindrance to your relationship.
So you're saying like a part of being the right person is making sure that you're a whole person before you go out looking for somebody else to be involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I agree. I think too, after that, once you get to the place where you feel like you're ready for a relationship, and we are talking like being the right person versus finding the right person, I honestly think it's about like your priorities. I know us as Christians, we try to prioritize living sacrificially. We're not saying that everybody has to be that way, but that's something that we believe. So part of living sacrificially would be elevating other people and their needs above yours, especially in a marriage, trusting that as you do that for each other, that each other's needs get met. The next one. And so this was asked multiple times. So there was another one where somebody asked what typically gets us into an argument and how we dismantle that. So I think we're going to kind of put all of those together. Do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
Okay, so first off, what usually gets us into, or how much we argue. We argue as much as we need to.
A lot.
This is the thing. We are not scared to argue. I feel like that comes from having 2 very dominant type personalities. We don't have issues with making it clear when we don't agree on something and then fighting for that stance, because at some point agreement has to come or you can't move forward. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is like we will take our time to argue. And I don't think it's unhealthy. I think it's unhealthy when you allow it to disrespectful levels. And that's what I think that many of us can get better at, especially us, is just like allowing it not to get disrespectful, because you can disagree, you can argue, all of that stuff, but making sure it stays in a respectful and constructive area, I think, is important. So that's as far as like how much we argue, quite a bit. Then the next one was what usually starts our arguments. And that over time has gotten better. We really do not argue over trivial things anymore. Not really much at all. I feel like nowadays when we argue, it's really over things worth arguing for. Now, it may be something trivial that kind of sparked a bigger conversation. Parenting is huge. I always tell people that, because you're taking two different perspectives, two different ways of being raised, two different
past hurts and traumas.
Yeah, past hurts, traumas, ideas, things we've seen work, not work, trying to be better than our parents, trying to replicate the things they did well, make sure we get rid of the things they didn't do well, and blah. Right. But you have both of those things going on with two different people at once for one set of kids, and then each of those kids are different. So parenting and dealing with our kids, how to deal with our kids, starts a lot of them.
Let me just go back to how frequent we argue. It's not anything crazy. I think I've learned to really go in a long roundabout way of communicating stuff, which drives her insane. Yeah. But I think it helps me pick my battles, and it helps me like talk through some of the things that have been bothering me. So it doesn't ever feel like an isolated incident, because when you're married for so long, there are some things that you just get used to that the other person does. You don't let them stop the progress of a relationship just because they bother you in a moment. In a moment of transparency, she's messy, I'm clean. It drives me insane, but she's been that way for 13 years. And so at this point, I've learned to loosen up because she does so many other things well. If that is one of the things that just gets on my last nerve, I can live with it. And I'm not going to sit there and be irritated every moment of every day because she likes to take her clothes off in the bathroom and just leave them there.
Oh, I don't do that anymore. Oh, be fair. I don't do that anymore.
Well, I'm just making an example.
Clothes
I'm just giving
in our
context.
room, though.
What was the other part?
And then how do we go about dismantling uneasiness between us two? You want to go first, Steve?
Comedy. I think me and her use being funny really well, and as a tool to disarm the other person. Okay. That tension that you have, you're just walking around the house stomping and sighing and, smacking your teeth and all that extra stuff. At some point, it's just like me and her have come way too far to just not enjoy each other at this point. We've been through so much crap. It's hard to want to just stay angry all the time. We'll always come back and say, look, I don't want to fight with you all day. I don't want to ruin the day. I want to enjoy you. I want to enjoy the day.
That was going to be my same answer. It's humor. We even have a voice we use with each other. Like,
don't give them school. Don't give them my sauce.
Hold on, not even just one voice, multiple voices.
Right.
We have multiple voices, multiple accents, multiple, like, we will, just all kind of stuff that just kind of, it just cuts through that tension. And for a second, if we could just smile, it kind of just dissipates all of that anger.
You gotta fight to enjoy each other.
Yeah.
You have to fight to enjoy each other, because you're around the same person all the time. They're bound to get annoying. They're bound to get on your nerves. You're bound to not like their face at some point. I think this kind of goes into the can two dominant or strong personalities coexist?
Yes, because I seen that. So that was a post I saw on Facebook, and I added it to our list of topics because I thought it was so interesting that so many people felt like two dominant personalities could not work. And I'm thinking it hasn't been easy, but it's worked for us for 13 years. 13 years of being together, 10 years of marriage, 4 kids. I think it's totally doable as long as you're two dominant personalities that, one, know that you're two dominant personalities. You got to know that about yourself and each other. Like I know that both of us want to be right. Not just in a basic sense.
I would rather be righteous than right.
Jared wants to be right. Okay? and that's fine. Like, know thyself. I just don't relate to it not working. I felt like because I was a dominant personality, I needed another dominant personality. Nothing irritates me more than somebody I feel like I can just walk all over, or somebody that I feel like agrees with me all the time. Like, if you agree with me all the time, that's fake. It can't be real. It can't be real. We're just two different people with too many different perspectives, too much different experiences in life to agree about stuff all the time. I just don't. We agree about the basics, the foundational things of our family and our life, and that's all that really matters.
Christ, our vision.
Right.
Certain things. I think one of the big things too is you gotta pick your battles and pick your places to be dominant. When you're getting to know each other, and as you continually get to know each other, you see areas that somebody may be better at than somebody else. And you let them be dominant in that area. I think one of the big things is these ego trips with strong personalities that feel like you have to take over every single thing. You got to be aware of strengths and weaknesses for yourself. And that's why, going all the way back to where we started, you got to figure out who you are and how you fit.